Welcome back to Wines du Jour. We're here at Mcmullan's Irish Pub in Las Vegas, Nevada, where you should be. And I have to tell you that I started out this evening giving you a little bit of information about how to pair beer with food, which most people, frankly, probably haven't thought too much about. And so far, I've talked a little bit about the bitterness that cuts through the fat, which is very important and something you probably never even thought about. And number two, the carbonation. The carbonation helps actually cleanse the palate. So you take a little bit of food, you have a little sip of beer, and you can kind of start all over again with another taste of food or something different, whatever it might be. And then the sweetness in the beer actually cuts through the hot part of chilies. And I mentioned jalapenos, serranos, habaneros. It works. And before we went to break, I said, I mentioned those chili peppers, and I also meant crackers, or I should say, I did say crackers that go too. So if you know, and people once in a while, they get a bite of something, they tear up and they don't know what they can do, and they run and try to get a glass of milk. It's not going to really work too well. All that's going to do is coat your mouth, and it doesn't help get rid of the fire. But if you have a cracker, stick the cracker in your mouth, chew it up, and you'll be amazed. It absorbs all the oil that is the heat part of the pepper in your mouth, okay? So it kind of goes away. Or have a sip of beer too, that'll help. Wine, no. Water, no. But beer, mostly crackers is what I would grab. In fact, you know, when we judge chili cook-offs, the judges, as you can probably imagine, taste maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, even 60 different chilies at a competition, and maybe every fifth or sixth one is just hotter than hell. And you take a bite of it just like you would any other, and you find out it's hot the hard way. They've got crackers there for you, and you just do it away and you sit that back, and they don't win. There's just no way they're going to win, if you know what I mean. Too hot is not good. Heat is nice. Too much is ridiculous. And on the other hand, not enough is not enough either. You should have a little bit of that spice. Now, you should take small sips when you first start with a beer. You get your beer, the first sip that you take, you should swish around in your mouth, kind of like mouthwash, you know? It'll cleanse your palate. You know, like if you had dentine gum or something like that. You know, get rid of all that stuff. The second sip, when you should kind of open your lips and your mouth a little bit and make a broader sip, if you will, so it just coats all of the inside of your mouth, and that'll kind of wake up your taste buds, and then you can swallow that. Then the third sip is when you can really taste the beer for the very first time. Now, I know you're used to just grabbing it, taking a big gulp, and saying, boy, this is good. Learn how to do it the other way, and you'll enjoy the beer much, much nicer. We're talking about good quality beer coming mostly, but not exclusively, from Europe. The first beer that we're going to taste, and I'll tell you about the food and everything as the time progresses, is the Harp Lager beer. Ooh, my goodness. If you've not had Harp, you need to try it. It's delicious. And Dallas Perry, sitting next to me here, is going to tell us all about that. Then we're going to go for the second beer. We're going to go to Smithwick's Irish Ale. Ooh, my goodness. Very nice, a little bit unique, and we've got some great food to go pairing with that. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun, myself. And the food, I have to tell you, Brian Mcmullan is Irish, needless to say, and he knows good food. Born and raised in Ireland, knows what good food tastes like, and insists the kitchen makes it the way Grandma did. You know what I'm saying? So it tastes exactly the way it's supposed to. If you've been to Ireland, it doesn't taste any different than if you're here. That's something that's a real compliment, because those of you that have been to Italy and you grew up eating Italian-American cuisine, and then you go to Italy and eat whatever over there, let's say lasagna, it don't taste at all like the lasagna that you grew up on. It's 10 times better. There's a reason for that. And maybe if we think about it during the show, I might tell you why. If not, listen to Wines du Jour. We'll talk about it from time to time. Now, meat. How can you pair beef with meat? I should say meat with beer. And so many people have a problem. They grab that steak, they run out and put it on the grill First of all, the steak is probably directly out of the refrigerator, which is, if you've listened to the show for any length of time, you know that that's a no-no. You want the meat and anything that you're going to put on the grill come to room temperature before you put it on the grill. It makes a world of difference when it's cooked, how it's going to taste. So you put the steak on the grill and just grab a beer out of the refrigerator. We want to think a little bit ahead of time and put some good beer in the refrigerator. And I say good because I'm talking about higher quality beer to go with the high quality steak you just spent a lot of money for, to make sure that they compare in taste and they blend very, very well. So you can't go wrong with caramelized beer. You know what that is? Caramelized beer. Well, maybe we'll talk to Dallas about that. Or even a brown ale goes really well with meat. Now we're talking about what pairs well with meat as far as beer is concerned. Everybody knows one of my favorite beers. Everybody knows the name Newcastle. Now, if you know, Newcastle has that caramelization, and that's what goes really well with the steak. So if you're not sure, Newcastle would be a choice, and there are several others as well. For starters, you can take, let's say, Newcastle or something like that. It goes well with beef. It goes well with venison. It goes well with pork. It goes well with lamb. All of these things, the flavor and taste of that beer is perfectly paired for that kind of meat, something you might not have thought about. Now, what about vegetables? You say, wait a minute, I'm a beer drinker. I don't eat no damn vegetables. Yeah, you need to eat vegetables, and you should take them seriously, because they're not only good for you, but they're very tasty when they're done well. And most people don't know that you can cut up bell pepper and put a little extra virgin olive oil on it and put it on the grill and let it get a little caramelization on it on both sides and taste it. You go, wow, that's pretty good. I didn't realize that. And you do the same thing with onions, whether it's a red onion or a yellow onion or a brown onion. Cut them fairly thick, peel it first, cut it fairly thick, put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, a little salt and pepper, put it on the grill for, I don't know, 30 seconds or a minute, turn it over, do the same, make sure it's got those grill marks, take it off of there, and you go, man, this is really good. If you do those things, the quality and taste is going to just jump up a notch, and you can have a nice caramelized beer with that, and you're going to enjoy it. Sound good? Now, what about fish? I know you never thought about having beer with fish. I have to tell you, if you're not already doing it, once in a while, try to poach your fish in beer. Now, again, I'm not talking about the stuff that supports the fights and the ball games. I'm talking about, Newcastle, Guinness, Harp, those beers. Use that. I'm telling you, you won't believe the beautiful taste that comes out with a fish that's poached that way. You can poach shrimp. You can poach lobster in beer. Absolutely outstanding. I have to say, it's a good thing. Well, before we go to a break, I want to introduce you to the barman here. He's the head barman here at the Mcmullan's Irish Pub, Dallas Perry. Dallas, thank you very much for allowing us to come over and enjoy some of the food and beer here at your place.
Absolutely, Les. Thanks for coming back.
You bet.
Always glad to have you guys. I've been here at the pub for 10 years. I'm a Stella Artois draft master and a Guinness lager draft master. We've gone through, and there's a lot more science to drinking a pint than just pouring it. It's almost just like wine. The shape of the glass really dictates the taste and the flavor. The amount of head really affects the aroma, which again really affects the smell. I'm sure you all know a lot about that. And we'll touch on a lot of that tonight.
That sounds good. Well, I just want to mention one other thing about fish and beer. Poaching is only one way. You can boil it, you can broil it, you can fry it, you can grill it, you can bake it, when it comes to fish. If you don't eat fish now, please do yourself a favor and try some. It's very tasty. Now, because the nutritionists over the years have said, you've got to eat fish twice a week or you're going to be unhealthy, and you say, the hell with them, I'm not going to do it. Well, you've missed out on some good food by being stubborn. So try it. You might be amazed. Now, there's a trick to doing fish. Now, I'm not talking about the poaching now. I'm just going to talk about grilling for a second. Something that I think you should know before we go to break here. And hold on, Dallas. We'll get back to the beer and so on after the commercial break. But for fish, the basic rule for cooking fish, no matter whether you're baking it, broiling it, frying it, or whatever, is for every thickness of fish, however thick that fillet is, you should cook it for a total of 10 minutes. That's just a rule of thumb. It's not, you don't set the timer and do it with all fish, because trout's a little bit different than halibut and so on and so forth, but that's the general rule of thumb. So you don't have it overcooked, which is not a good thing, or you don't have it undercooked, because a lot of people are a little bit funny unless it's tuna. You know, we've kind of learned how to have tuna that's medium rare as opposed to well done. But the key is this. When you're going to grill fish, you have your grill on medium, not on high. You have the fish at room temperature. You brush extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper on it, and take the side that's going to be up on the plate. Whatever side you think looks the best, that's going to be the up side. That goes on the grill first. Okay? Now here's the key. I said 10 minutes total cooking time per one inch of thickness, and we're just going to use an example of 1 inch thick fillet of fish. So you're going to do it for 10 minutes. Most people say 5 minutes, 5 minutes, I'm done. Wrong. That's not what you want to do. When you go to a restaurant like here or any upscale restaurant that has fish and you order it and it comes out, it's got a nice little crust on the top of it, you say, how the heck do they do that? The answer is they leave it on that upside longer than they do the other side. So even though the total cooking time would be 10 minutes, you might do 7, 7.5, even 8 minutes on that one side. It's going to get a little crusty. That's what you want. Then turn it over for 30 seconds or a minute, take it off and put it on the plate. It's cooked perfectly, 10 minutes, 10 seconds, 10 minutes for the 1 inch thick of the fish. Hey, I have to start all over here in a minute. But for every 1 inch of thickness is 10 minutes. You got 7 or 8 minutes on one side and the balance on the other side. And you will be amazed. It's going to look and taste just like it does in the restaurant, and you didn't have to pay $25 for it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. We got to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about Harp lager beer and the food that's going to go with that when it comes out here in a few minutes. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back coast to coast and around the world on the internet right here on Wine is Jour. We're tasting beer at Mcmullan's Irish Pub. Be back in just a moment.
Upgrade to DirecTV today and get the best offer ever. Get over 150 of your favorite channels. And this season of NFL Sunday Ticket is included at no extra charge. You'll get 3 free months of HBO, Starz, Showtime, and Cinemax. 4 free equipment upgrades to an HD DVR and up to 3 HD receivers. And HD is included. Plus, lock in not 1, but 2 years of savings. This offer won't last long. Upgrade today and get the best offer ever with DirecTV.